It is July 8th, and I am going through our budget for August. We have some paychecks that came in, and we are going to allocate the money where we want it for the beginning of August. We don't quite have enough money earned yet to pay for all of August's expenses, but we are getting there, so I'm going to kind of walk you through the process that I go through to actually fill in my budget. On the right side of the YNAB screen, they have some quick budget options, which are really handy if you already have all the money that you're going to be budgeting for the month. But since I don't, I currently have $3,263.15 to budget. It says that there's $4,533.53 that we would need in order to budget for the full month. Based on last month, it's $3,522.89. I know I definitely don't have enough money, so we're not going to use the quick budget options. We're going to actually go through and budget everything manually, which is my preferred method even when I'm running behind and we already have all the money we need, just because I actually enjoy the process of telling my money where to go. Alright, so we don't have any outstanding Amazon card balances. We pay that off every month, so I don't have to budget any money to that. We are skipping investments and our emergency fund this month. The emergency fund is funded high enough for us at this point. Investments will be funded once our car loans are paid off, so we get to skip through those categories as well. So that moves us into the monthly expenses category. In this category, I'm going to budget $530 for our mortgage. The cell phone is $48.45. The car payment, the minimum payments are $755, but my goal is to pay no less than $1,005 each month. So I can click that because I think my keyboard might be pretty loud. So I'll try not to use that as much as possible. So utilities, we fund up to $400, but we don't actually use that much each month. So as we get closer to the end of July, I'll be able to go through and bump that down so that way the available amount ends up being $400 rather than a lot more, but I know we haven't received all of our bills for July yet. So we'll just put that money in there and then it'll become available to us if it's not needed later on. Groceries is going to be the same way. We're going to add $600 to it now, knowing full well that we shouldn't need the full $600 unless we increase our grocery budget quite a bit from last month, which is always a possibility, but I think it's unlikely for this month. Toiletries and consumables, we haven't spent any money in that category yet. And I know we're going to have some extra money between the utilities and the groceries, so I'm going to leave that one blank for now. We already have $150. That's the max spending that we have for that category in a given month. I don't see any reason to put more money in that right now. Same thing for transportation. We have that at $180, so I'm not going to budget that. Now, if we spend money on filling up gas tanks for our cars, then we will go ahead and put that money that we used back into there. I don't have any interest or fees that I expect to be paying, so that will stay blank as well. And we've moved on to irregular expenses. Car insurance gets funded up to $190 each month, and then we pay the actual bill twice a year. Car registration gets $30 a month. We still have quite a bit of money, so we'll keep going on our goals. Rhode Island visits gets $50 a month. Auto repair and maintenance gets $20 a month. Auto replacement currently isn't funded. We'll start funding that once the car loans are paid off. Home repair and maintenance gets $60. Miscellaneous purchases gets $200. Subscriptions get $16. Animals get $25. We don't do anything with the health because that's part of our health savings account, which is funded through Lee's paycheck. So we still have $88.70, which isn't going to get us too far into our wants category, but we can start funding that now anyway. I'm going to put $50 into Lee's account, and the $38.70 that's remaining will go into my account. When we receive our next paycheck, which I should be getting one early next week, I will be able to go through, finish funding my account, and hopefully some of the other wants, and then we'll be able to also take a look at the utilities, the groceries, toiletries, and consumables, make adjustments there to get us to the starting goals that we want for the budget. That is all I have available to budget at this point. So I will be back after the next time we get paid. All right, so it's been about a week. We've received some more income. So I'm going to assign out the purpose for each of those dollars that we earned. So we currently have $1,433.30 to be budgeted. So I'm going to kind of go down the line and fill in areas that I either skipped last time or didn't fully fund, and we'll work through the list. It looks like we are currently underfunded for the budget by $1,270.30. So that means we should have about $150 to go through, and it will be extra funds at this point. We'll be able to put them towards our wish list for the month of July, which is the way we normally do it. So that way we're funding a month in advance, and then we're taking any extra money and then using it in the current month the way we want to. So it'll either go towards the wish list, or it will go towards extra payments towards our car loans. So rather than clicking that underfunded button, which would be the easy way to do it, I prefer to actually manually assign each dollar myself. So that is how I'm going to do it today. All of the categories under available that are green have all of the money that they need for the month in them already. So it looks like I got a good ways down before I decided to skip a category. I believe I skipped toiletries and consumables because it's currently at the limit for what we will spend in a given month, and we just hadn't spent any money. I know we've got a couple of things like tissues and things like that we need to purchase, so I am going to fund that, and we'll end up pulling out any extra money later on. But for now, we'll just assign the money so that way we're not over allocating money towards our wish list and car payments. So transportation, I know I'm getting kind of low on gas in my car. It's been a couple of months since I put more gas in it, so I'm not going to fund it at a full $180. I know we're definitely not going to get there. It's probably going to be under $50, but I'm going to give it $90 just to be safe, and we'll leave that as is. I know there's almost no chance that we're going to spend more than $90 on gas this month, considering we rarely leave the house. So it looks like all of the irregular expenses are fully funded. Auto replacement, we don't currently put money in because we are making car payments. We're prioritizing that over getting new cars. Our cars currently have warranties, so we shouldn't have any reason to replace any of our 2 cars at this point. And then health gets funded through our HSA, and that money won't come in until August itself, so that's fine as it is. Alright, so then it looks like we allocated $50 to Lee. We did not fully allocate money to me, so I'm going to change that from $38.70 to $50. School gets $100, and that's for textbooks and school supplies, and I'll be starting my next semester the very end of August, so sometime between the end of August and early September, we'll start using some of that money. Dining will get $150. Hobbies, fitness, entertainment, and clothing don't get any extra money unless we've spent money or it's come from our wish list. So gifts gets $10. We've funded Lee and Stacy Do Things at $300. I think we're just going to leave it there. I don't think we've spent anything, and we're still figuring out what we might need money for, what we won't, how we're actually doing things. Alright, so that leaves us with $922, which I feel like is a lot more than, it was taking into account goals that we have we started working on our kitchen renovation, so we've spent some money for the electrical items, but in order to have it completed by May 20th, which I'm not quite sure why I have a due date on there, but I do, or I guess by June 1st, we started it in May 20th. We don't actually have to have the money by that time, so I'll probably go through and change that goal and get rid of the date on there. So that's probably where some of those goals were coming in. Okay, so I am going to go back up just to make sure we have the money and resources and bump transportation back up to the $180. So we'll probably end up pulling close to the $180 out once we actually roll into August and we can allocate that money elsewhere. So that's going to leave $832 for us to figure out where we want to put that money. I am going to leave it here for now. It is Saturday. It's our normal budget review day. So I will kind of review our budget for August. It's a set amount every month, so there's not really much to discuss as far as that for us unless we have something unexpected that's going to be coming up soon. And we will determine what we want to do with that $832. So I will be back once we receive some more money or I allocate out those $832. I am back. Lee and I have had our budget discussion and we've determined what we want to do with the remaining $832 to be budgeted for now. So I am going to move over to the July budget because we're going to use the money that's left over to fund our goals, and that includes the extra car payments at this point. So it doesn't really make sense to us to hold on to money to pay off debt. We'd rather pay it off earlier so that way we don't accrue as much interest in the long run. So we're kind of just putting everything in now. From that $832, we are going to put $416 towards the car payment. So I'm just going to come over here. And I will end up scheduling that payment to come through. It'll probably end up coming out around the same time as the normal scheduled payment on the 17th. But that's for a different time. And then we were going to put money into the wish list, and we've already reallocated some of the money in here. But we did decide that we're going to do the living room curtains because the glare on our computer screens is a bit much when we're trying to work in the morning. So we're going to get some that are a little bit darker to block out the extra light. So that's going to be about $230 because we have about half of our room covered in windows. So there's a lot of windows that need to be covered. We want to make sure our curtains match, so it's a little bit expensive, but we should only have to replace them once, hopefully. And then the remaining $186 is going to the track saw. And now we are back to $0. So until our next paychecks come through, that is all the budgeting that we can do. So I will be back with our last paycheck of the pay period. That is going to be our final funding for August and our goals for July. Alright, and I am back. We have received our last expected paycheck of the 4-week pay period that we budget based on, and we have $1,466.64 to allocate out. And our August budget is fully funded. We are green on every category except for clothing, but we're not expecting to spend any money for the rest of this month. So we won't have to put any money into this category because that's the max that we put in there. And then our wish list categories get funded as we get to them. So even if there's some yellow categories here, it doesn't really matter. We reprioritize those as we go. Every week we discuss them and make changes, and as we make purchases and things like that, we adjust them. There's nothing left for me to do in the August budget at this point in time, so I'm going to go into July, which is the current month that we are in, and we are going to allocate out the rest of this money. So it looks like our car payments have come out so far, but we are going to put half of our money that is available towards our car payment so we can continue to pay that down. So that is going to be $733.32. So I will be scheduling up that payment probably at some point today, just so that way we can get that paid off and minimize the amount of interest we have to pay on the car loans. And then the remaining money is going to our wish list. So if I scroll down here, our track saw for the kitchen cabinets needs another $349.71 in order to be fully budgeted up. So I'm going to add that here. So that puts our balance at $600. And then Lee and I decided that we are going to take that $383.61 and put that towards the cabinets and hardware. And it might not all be spent on that for now. We're just going to do 2 test cabinets and make sure they work exactly the way we want with the right hardware and everything like that. And if all is good, we'll go through and make the rest of the kitchen cabinets from there. So I don't think we'll quite use all of that money there, so some of it might be repurposed to something else, like the kitchen window or kitchen sink, which would be the next things we need for our kitchen renovation. But for now, this is where we're going to put the money, and we'll adjust as time goes on. Alright, so we're now back to $0 to be budgeted, and that completes our August budgeting. If you like this video and want to see more, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye!